All right, here we are with Storytime, with sponsored by nobody, episode 3. We're going to title this one Orbie Part 2. I'm Devon.
Nicole.
Ian. And Peter.
So, yeah,
This is actually part 1 of
this is the first time Orbie came up, but this is part 2 to it, because you have to start from the last one and go backwards. So if you're... let's just do this all over again. So, Katie and Orbie was like this little French-Canadian show I watched as a kid. It was this cute thing when an alien named Orbie who comes to Earth makes friends with a little girl called Katie, and they become best friends and go on fun little innocent adventures. It's very cute. So this is like before we lived in the Arctic. This is like back in the before time. And this is when we lived with, or like we gamed with, the sociopath gamers. Which we've talked about a bit in the background and kind of kept it a little bit vague because they're all awful people. Like, they poach teenagers out of high school and, like, do creepy stuff and rub people's feet when they're asleep and flood apartments.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and, like, they'll flood apartments. Like, these were not awesome people we used to hang out with and live with, alright? They were gross. But... us being young teens or like, you know, young 20-somethings at the time, we didn't really have a benchmark for better gamers. This was normal this was normal for us at the time, yeah.
Didn't help that, you know, everyone is kind of shitty in that place.
Yeah. So, one of these people, and again, have no sympathy for this guy, he's the worst, wanted to run a game, and one of the people in our group, who was kind of this huge narcissist and really controlling guy, made a system that we were only allowed to really play if we stayed in the kind of gaming apartment they had, / being part of that social circle.
Also, it was basically the only game we were allowed to play, for the most part. Like, when we tried playing other games, he'd get
mad.
All... yeah, puffy about it.
Oh yeah, like even the one time, not the guy who wrote it, but the guy we're talking about, he once brought friends over and they played, I think, Fiasco, or maybe Fiasco wasn't out then. It might have been any one of those weird kind of half-forged trad narrative games that were coming out at the time, like Dread or something, or even before that. It was just a game that wasn't his game, and he got really huffy and was like, what does it do different? You know, why is it better than my game? And his game was like a half-baked D&D clone that like was clearly based off him playing Final Fantasy Tactics, and he codified the rulebook in such a way that he, as the guy who wrote the game, if you ever called him on the rules he wrote, he would change the rules in the next edition to like get around the problem. He wouldn't fix bugs, but he would try to make it so that he was always the ultimate authority on the game. Anyone who got better system mastery than him, that had to change. So the guy that wanted to run didn't make the system, but he you know, you had to run it in this system. And he like made this pitch for this game where we were like, I think sci-fi people on Earth, and he wanted us to make it like Firefly, but also Cowboy Bebop, and like he even was also setting up the origin story to be Cowboy Bebop with like Earth disappearing one day.
Oh wow, guys, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, but it was also
once
fantasy.
Again, I only remember your character.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was a scientist.
Yeah, you might have been a science person.
Because, like, you know, you were an alien.
Exactly. You literally were Katie. Like, you named your character Katie. So, he gave us way too many character points and told us to build characters, and at this point I was stress testing the system because I thought that was useful and would make the system better. And that was a mistake because that only made the narcissist guy really, really, really upset when we stress tested the system. He would get really mad. He would throw fits. Like, if you ever played Magic the Gathering with him, if you beat him too many times, he would start to throw fits. But if you lost to him a bunch, or like he caught wind, or he got into his head that you were losing on purpose, he would also throw like punch wall tantrums and stuff. Like he was a mad guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was stress testing his system for him. And I approached the guy, and I'm like, okay, I have built this character. His name is Orbie. Here's how Orbie works. So to give you an idea of how this system works, everything, at the end of every session, you got an advancement. And this advancement was unlike, say, D&D, where you got like little bits of XP or any of the WAD systems where you had to save them XP to buy it, an advancement bought you a new character option every time. You could always do something with a character option. Always. And because this guy was really into Ayn Rand and libertarian stuff at the time, he assigned numeric and Ron Paul and shit. He assigned like an economic model to advancements and gave them an abstract monetary value. And he also made the crafting system abstract and universal, not just for making material goods, but he tied crafting and production of material goods into gaining value for character points, so you could teach yourself.
And teach other people.
So like, how the crafting system would work is if you wanted to make a sword and it was worth X amount of value, you'd have to spend that much time on it and have like half of the materials half of its cost of materials up front. If you want to learn something from someone, you had to have a source for that advancement. Like if you had the spell Fireball, you need to have it on hand or someone who had it and learn it from them and craft it onto yourself until you had it. But the value went up not based on it being an advancement, but based on how complex the advancement was. There were things you could do in the game to speed up crafting, though. Basically like an Exalted, where you could be like, I pump out a 1-year artifact in a day. So I took all my character points, and I invested Orbie into the two things the TV show is about. Learning and teaching lessons. So, again, we got way too many. So Orbie, the way he was built, the way he explained to the GM was, he had normal and supernaturally accelerated ways of learning. And he had normal and supernaturally accelerated proficiencies at teaching. So how it works is Nicole built herself to be a science woman, and the science woman was okay at learning, but also
I was a biologist. I think that's where that comes into hand later.
Yeah, because you were good at dissecting. Like you spread yourself out into a biology thing. You could build your own you could build your own advancement trees, like in World of Warcraft, and like make them your own thing and give them your own powers and stuff. And like it was a very supposed to be kind of flexible thing. So how the game would work is Orbie would land and hang out with Katie. Orbie would then, with his teaching powers, teach Katie all of the advancements on his character sheet that were based on how to learn at an accelerated rate. This would be the longest part of the cycle. So Katie gets all of the learning powers of Orbie slowly, but then she has them. Now that she has them, Orbie teaches her all of his teaching abilities, and she gets them in like a quarter of the time because she has all of her learning stuff. Now you basically copy all of Orbie's character powers off his character sheet and paste them under Katie. Now Katie has learning and teaching. She teaches Orbie everything on her character sheet. So now their character sheets are basically Xeroxes of each other. And you can aid another and combine the fractional, like the exponential nature of these powers. So the third character was Josh. Whoa, I'm playing Eddie the Head, Josh. And he was playing like a Boba Fett Space Marine murder man. So we approached Josh and we're like, Josh, we're going to teach you how to learn. And he's like, I want to learn. I love school. So Josh then, because there's two people with these accelerated exponential growth supernatural teaching abilities, teaches them how to learn in even a shorter amount of time, less than a day. And now because he knows how to learn, we teach him how to teach. And then he teaches us, and then he teaches one of us how to be a mercenary gunman, and we Xerox his character sheet under our sheet. And then those two people teach Nicole all that. So at the end of the session 0, we basically all just Xerox our character sheets under each other's character sheets and have we've just added all of our character points to each other. We're all identical characters. This is where it now gets complicated because we had biology and dissection and combat, and I'm talking to the GM and I'm like, okay, so just as a thought experiment, what was like the first encounter you were going to throw at us? Don't spoil stuff, but what was it? He was like, well, it was going to be mercenaries and maybe like a dragon wizard. And I'm like, yeah, so this is how this goes down. The three of us having triple the character points we had before and all being Josh-level mercenary bounty hunters, we're going to bull rush these guys and capture them alive, and we're going to sit down one of the mercenaries, and we're going to strip him of information. We're going to strip all the character advancements off his sheet, because NPCs were built on the same rules as PCs. So all of his mercenaries who had like cool mercenary tactics, we would instantly absorb into our character sheet by just like torturing the information out of them and making him teach us. And we were really good at it. Oh, and I think Katie was psychic. She can mind read. You can mind read. This is important. Because then you could just pull the information out with mind reading.
Yeah.
And we all were psychic now.
Actually, we probably didn't get that until the Mind Flare.
Maybe. We had a way though. So if you send a bunch of NPCs, and the way the game worked, because it was broken, is that bonuses from similar types stacked. They did not stack. So if we were to suck the info out of 3 mercenaries, we would just triple up on all of their advancements.
Power.
Yeah. So we were even better at guns and murder. And then it's like, and then we'll capture the dragon, and we'll learn all of its dragon knowledge. But its dragon knowledge, like its advancements were split between its stuff it learned as a person and its natural advancements that it knew from being a dragon.
Like breathing fire.
Breathing fire, having scales, flying, casting magic. And I'm like, because Nicole was a biologist, and we were really good at learning, and we were able... The game had an abstract layer of things it called possibility and unpossibility. And the more unpossible something was, and it was hard baked into the system, the harder it was to do it, to the point where you had to get possibilities to get through to it. So we were able to, like, it was like a scaling system, like in Fate. We were able to Fate scale unpossibility away. And when we did that, the fact that you can't learn how to have dragon hide like a dragon became possible for us. So we
Specifically also because I was a biologist. Though.
Exactly. You were able to dissect, and the dissection of them meant that those advancements had a physical source. The dragon scale power was inherent to the dragon having dragon scales. The fire breathing was inherent in having fire breathing organs. The magic was inherent to us having access to his brain with psychic powers. So we were able to strip mine the dragon of all of its knowledge and natural abilities and give it to ourselves and then trade it around with teaching and learning. So now we're all dragons.
Not even physically, though.
We're all mercenary
kind
dragons.
of. We have, like, weird organs that make us blow fire, but we didn't just transform into dragons.
And then we started talking, it's like, so, does your world have wizards? And he's like, yes. And it's like, okay, so we're going to start capturing wizards and strip mining them for information. And because we're really good at teaching and stuff, we'll find researchers and strip mine them their research powers, which is basically crafting for magic. And now we're able to hotbox and supercraft new spells. Spells that let us better at capturing things. And like it just kept escalating. To the point where it's like, by the end of session 2, we were Shoggoths bonded together. Because if multiple characters stack onto each other in the fiction, you become a Hydra. So you get 5 actions, and your health and your different pools pool together, and you can aid each other for like huge bonuses. So we're this Shoggoth rolling down the streets of the world, absorbing people and super learning, like aiding each other 3 or 4 ways to like super learn and like rip people's knowledge out and like take their natural abilities and take their magic and their psionicis. And like now while we're like rolling down Main Street as a flesh monster, on the inside we have fabricators going, building new gear for us and like building weapons. and they're like coming out of pseudopods shooting through people.
I'm picturing it very, Who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
You know the Rick and Morty episode where they ruin the whole world?
Yeah, to Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. I'm picturing like a Cronenberg like flesh sack.
Cronenberg Akira Flesh Titan with nanofabricators and crafters and schools inside of it. And because yeah, and like summoning was broken as well because it let you play around with character with like advancements. So when you summoned a creature, you have to build it as a character.
Oh no!
Yeah. So and abilities scaled as advancements got more complex and could backport for bigger effects. So if you were able to summon like an ant soldier, like a Fomorian from D&D at like the first advancement, instead of making a more complex soldier at like a higher level summon, you can instead get more of them. So instead of having one soldier at like the first level of summon, by the time you get to the 5th level, you can just backport it and get like 2 armies of them because it was an exponential growth function.
Yeah.
So this, and then summoning, of course, is the win button in bad D&D ripoffs. So there was like this Shoggoth thing, summoning monsters equipped with gear, shooting things, capturing people with taser rifles, and adding them to the flesh pile.
Like literally Kadmar Damacy, now that you mention it, that's what we were doing.
We were going to drill into the planet and wear the planet as a suit of armor and start conquering other worlds because he wanted it to be a space game.
Oh man.
We were just Unicron.
I'm picturing slivers from Magic.
Like,
yeah, slivers. Yeah, exactly like slivers.
Yeah.
And also remember, this is just us before the game started.
This was session 0.
Describing to the GM what our characters were and what we were going to do.
What we could do by session 3.
Yeah.
So,
and there wasn't really a way for him to stop us.
Yeah, there wasn't. Like unless he killed Orbie fast, and he couldn't. This was happening. And it's like, oh, if Orbie dies, I guess his brother Orbie's gonna show up. So Orbie's only powers were learning and teaching. That was it. He was very fucking good at it to a ridiculous degree because I put all of my character points into it. So this is the only time this GM ever ran a game right, or ever resolved a situation without like screaming or like, you know, throwing hand, you know, trying to catch hands or whatever. This was the moment he made the smartest move I've ever seen anyone in that group make. He went, Devon, it looks like that is how the game will go. Which means the game has ended, which means you did it. You won the game. You did it. This game had a win condition, and you made it. You have beaten the game. You have beaten me. You are better than I am at this. Nothing I could ever do could stop you. I can't stop you from doing this. This is going to happen. This will be 3 sessions, that'll be it. You, Nicole, and Josh, you've done it. So I was thinking, now that we've had this really long game, and we all had fun with it, and it was really cool, and like you all really shone pretty bright there and got to do a lot of cool stuff. I was thinking of maybe running another game now. You know, maybe the same night. You know, we'll do the same system. You know, I was thinking it'd be like Cowboy Bebop and stuff. Do you think you had anything you wanted to play in that? Anything cool or anything interesting? And I'm like, oh yeah. I had like an idea for like a fucking race car driver or something. That'd be cool. I already got Orbie out of my system in that last campaign we did. A reminder, if you haven't caught on, we didn't get past session 0. He immediately folded and was like, in the most diplomatic way possible, it's like, you got it. Please don't play this character. Please stop. I yield. I show my belly. I admit that you're better than me at this.
And that was the first time Orbie
was the first time I used Orbie
to win a game before it started.
Role-playing games have a win condition, apparently. And I found it by being as disruptive as possible with a very shitty system we had.
You became the Grey Goo, Devon.
Yeah, it was a Grey Goo scenario. It was a Grey Goo scenario. Yeah. Again, you might be like, oh man, it's really shitty of you to do that to his game. But like, he still ran the exact same game. We just showed, like this didn't change anything about his game. He ran the exact same game, guys. Like, it didn't change anything. We just showed him Orbie, and he was like, yep, Orbie would destroy this entire game forever.
Destroy any game forever.
Yeah. So he was like, yes, if this game were to run, and it did run, I guess, you win. You win forever. You've won. Ha ha. Conflict resolution. But these people sucked, so don't feel bad about them. I was Devon.
Nicole?
Ian.
And Peter.
And this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off.